In this video, you will see material that may be considered inappropriate or sensitive for you, and therefore discretion is advised. We start with a girl in her room. She hears a loud noise downstairs. It sounds like a gunshot. After a while, her father enters the room and tells her that they have to leave. The girl asks him if her mommy is not going to take her to school, and the father tells her no because mommy is not feeling well. He proceeds to grab his two daughters and drives away in the car at high speed while it is snowing. His daughter tells him that he is going too fast, but he accelerates even more. His daughter repeats the same thing, and he turns to her and tells her to be quiet, which causes him to lose control of the car. The car starts to spin until it falls down a ravine. The father and the girls are surviving as they walk in the snow. We hear on the news that he killed two of his associates and then proceeded to kill his wife before kidnapping his two daughters. They find an abandoned house in the middle of the snow. Before entering, the girl notices something passing by the window and tells her father that there is someone inside, but he ignores her and tells her to go in. Once inside, the father goes to another place and starts crying inconsolably while he puts the gun in his mouth to commit suicide. His daughter tells him that there is someone there who is not touching the ground. The father is with his daughter and takes away her glasses. Without her glasses, she can hardly see anything. He tells her to look out the window because there is a deer outside. When the girl turns, he points a revolver at her. Since the girl doesn't have her glasses, she cannot see clearly what is happening. She only sees a blurry image of something holding her father suspended in the air. Give the video a like, it will come for you. Also leave a comment so that YouTube recommends it. And if you are new, I invite you to subscribe by activating the notification bell. While the girls were alone in the house in front of a campfire, a cherry arrives, and it seems they see something in the darkness that is staring at them intently. 5 years later, we are with this boy. His name is Jeffrey, and he is the girl's uncle. He is still searching for them despite the fact that 5 years have already passed. We are with these two hunters. They were helping to search for the girls. One of them spots a car in the distance, and they go to check it out. There, they find a stuffed animal and make the dog smell it to follow the scent. They arrive at the abandoned house, and inside the house they find toys and a small shoe. The old man was in the kitchen and saw a pile of cherry seeds. As he checks them, we see that there is something crouched behind him watching him. That thing starts to move behind the old man and moves in a very strange way. The old man's companion is also being watched by something else, and that thing starts to chase him. The two things come together and climb on top of the refrigerator while they watch the gentleman. Those two things are the very malnourished girls. They called Jeffrey to see his nieces, and both of them act quite strangely. He enters the room with them to try to get them to recognize him. By the way, the girls' names are Victoria and Lily. He approaches them, but Victoria attacks him. He takes out some glasses and gives them to Victoria so she can see properly. When Victoria puts on the glasses, she is able to recognize her uncle Jeffrey and gives him a hug. They are in a trial to determine who will get custody of the girls. The only important thing here is that the doctor in charge of the girls says that they created a protective guardian named Mom. Here I made a mistake. The girl's uncle is not named Jeffrey. Jeffrey was the father. The uncle's name is Lucas. The girl's mother's aunt says that Lucas does not have the ability to raise them because he is not financially well off, meaning he is poor. In the end, temporary custody is granted to Lucas, and the girl's aunt has the right to visit them. The doctor allowed Lucas to stay with the girls on the sole condition that he would have access to them whenever he wanted. The doctor spends his time studying the girls, evaluating their behavior and development. The doctor is talking to Victoria, and she is telling him a story. The story is about a woman who escaped from a hospital and ran away with her baby. Victoria says that the woman jumped into the water. The doctor asks her how she knows that story, if her mom told her, and Victoria says that not only did she tell her, but she also showed her. All of this is being recorded by the doctor. The doctor went to investigate the story that Victoria told him, which matches a story from 1878. The patient's name is Edith. We are at home with Lily, the youngest girl. While she is playing in her room, we see someone pulling the blanket, but it is not her sister because on the wall we see a giant shadow. The girl starts to scream, and Annabelle was going to check if everything was okay, but Victoria appears behind her and calls her. By the way, Annabelle is Lucas's girlfriend. Victoria was going to see if her sister was okay, but before entering the room, she takes off her glasses. As I was closing the door, we see his little sister floating on the ceiling. Lucas and his girlfriend were kissing and touching on the bed, and at that moment, his girlfriend sees something in the mirror. Lucas goes and checks the whole house. As he walks, he sees a small black spot on the wall, from which little butterflies start to emerge. Then, Lucas fell from the second floor. He was taken to the hospital. It will take him a few days to recover, but he will be fine. Now Annabelle will be in charge of taking care of the girls. The doctor went to the girls' house and starts looking at some drawings they made on the wall. They also find this ugly doll. He picks up the doll and begins to watch the video that Victoria recorded. In the video, Victoria says that mom made the doll, and while reviewing the video, she realizes that Victoria was staring intently at a corner. Annabelle had put the girls to bed, and when she went to check on them, she found them playing. Annabelle sees Lily looking towards the wardrobe, which piques her curiosity, and she goes to see what is there. As she approaches, Victoria tells her not to do it, not to open that wardrobe. Annabelle asks what is inside, and Victoria tells her that their mom is there. To save herself, Annabelle decides to close the door and leaves the room. Annabelle goes and talks to the doctor, telling him that there is something in the girls' room protecting them. The doctor continues to investigate about a woman named Eddie. Before giving the doctor some documents about Edith, this woman asks him if he believes in ghosts. While Annabelle was organizing some things in the house, she hears strange noises, starts to walk, and we see something black descending behind her. Then, she turns around and sees nothing. We are with Lucas, who wakes up in another place and sees a person walking strangely. It seems to be his brother, and he tells him to save his daughters, to go to the cabin. Jeff starts to convulse, and on the computer the word mom begins to appear repeatedly. Some doctors arrived in time and managed to revive him. The girl's aunt is going to visit them, but you know that all she wants is to gain custody, so she looks for any excuse to have them taken away, and now it's worse because Annabelle, who has no relation to the girl, is the one taking care of them. The aunt sees that one of the girls has a small bruise and blames Annabelle for it. When the aunt goes to her car, she makes a phone call and says that she wants to take custody of the girls because she suspects they are being abused. The doctor is talking to Victoria and asks her where mom is, asking if she is at home, and Victoria replies that she doesn't know. The doctor starts to become insistent, asking Victoria to open her eyes and look at the photo. She does so, and upon seeing the photo, she becomes agitated and starts yelling at the doctor to get out. Behind him, she hears a roar, and a large black stain is appearing on the wall. The doctor, quite frightened, leaves the house and drives away in his car. Nevertheless, he continues to investigate this at home and believes he has found a portal from the girl's house to the abandoned house where they were found. We are with Annabelle, and while she is sleeping, she begins to have a dream. In this dream, we see a woman approaching a nun, taking a baby from the nun's arms and stabbing her before running away. As she runs, she is being chased by some men and reaches a cliff. She proceeds to jump off with the baby in her arms. But while falling, she hits a tree. She continues to fall, but no longer has the baby in her arms. Annabelle wakes up not knowing what she just dreamed. Underneath her bed is Mom. Mom climbs onto the bed and Annabelle sees her face to face, but it was another dream. We are with Victoria. While she was sleeping, Lily says, "Come, Mommy." Victoria turns around and Lily starts hitting her to go with Mommy. The doctor went alone to search for the abandoned house where the girls were found. Lily left her house and began looking for her mom almost in the woods. The doctor was already at the abandoned house and found a black stain on a wall, similar to the one he saw when he was at the girl's house. He tries to touch the black stain, but just at that moment, he hears a noise similar to the one he heard when he was interviewing Victoria. The doctor tells that thing that it knows what it is and what it wants, but just at that moment, the flashlight starts to fail him. He begins to take pictures of the place to illuminate a bit and know where that thing is. Then we see how that thing grabs him and twists his neck. We return to Annabelle. She was going to the girls' room, but as she goes, we notice that she has a mark on her neck. Annabelle enters the girls' room to tidy up some things and sees something next to a sofa. She thinks it's Lily, so she doesn't pay attention to it. When Annabelle is facing away, we see that thing start to rise. Victoria below says, "Annabelle, come eat, Lily is hungry." At that moment, Annabelle realizes that what is behind her is not Lily, and we see how that thing hides in the closet. Annabelle opens the closet and checks the wall, where there is also a black stain, 2009. While she is checking, Victoria calls her. Yet Annabelle still cannot see that thing clearly. Annabelle grabs some documents that the doctor left behind, and there she finds a photo of Mom. Lucas is already well, and he goes to the place he lives in his dream. Annabelle found the doctor's laptop and starts watching the video of the interview that Victoria recorded. In this, Victoria recounts exactly what Annabelle saw in her dream. In the interview, the doctor also asked Victoria what happened to the baby that the woman was carrying, and she says that she doesn't know. Annabelle finds a photo and we see that the baby was left hanging on the branch where Mom hit her head. The doctor tells Victoria to show it to Mom, and Victoria replies that she is not coming because she knows the doctor is watching. The two sisters were walking through the house. Lily sees Mom in the background. Victoria tells her not to look because Mom is angry. Then, the sisters run out. Annabelle arrives and asks the sisters what happened. Just then Mom appears. Everyone starts running and Mom begins to chase Annabelle. While Annabelle is running, they make her fall, and that thing climbs on top of her. Before that thing can hurt her, Victoria says, "You promised me you wouldn't do it," and it stops. That thing starts to chase the girls now, but it only approaches Victoria to take her glasses and damage them. Mom hears someone entering the house, and it is the girl's aunt, but she came in without knocking or announcing her arrival. Upon realizing this, Mom hides, while the girl's aunt walks stealthily so she won't be heard. She notices a wig dragging on the floor. Then, the girls hear a scream and go downstairs to see what is happening, only to find a boot. Victoria hears a small noise in the kitchen and goes to see what it is. It is her aunt, but she is acting a bit strange. Then, it turns out to be Mom who has taken the aunt's body. Annabelle woke up and drove to the house where they were going to find the girls. There she encounters Lucas, and together they enter the house. Inside they find the girl's aunt. Lucas touches her and looks at how she appears, and she immediately fades away. They leave the house and in the distance see the ravine where Mom jumped with the baby, and they run up there because Mom is up there with the two girls. Annabelle and the others climb up the mountain and Mom is calling the girls to jump into the abyss. Before Lily jumps, her uncle grabs her, which makes Mom angry, and she starts to hurt Lucas. But Annabelle calls her since Annabelle has Mom's real baby. Annabelle hands over her baby, and it seems that Mom is at peace now, as her appearance even changes. However, when Lily says Mom, it makes her angry again, and she wants to take her away. Mom approaches Lucas and stabs him in the chest with her hand. Then Mom grabs Annabelle and starts to squeeze her in the air, leaving her on the ground gasping for breath and grabbing the girls. With her last breaths, Annabelle begins to crawl to prevent the girls from being taken away. She manages to grab Victoria, but Lily wants to go with Mom. Mom wraps her in the air and lets herself fall with Lily in her arms over the cliff. As they fell, Lily smiled at her mom. F for Lily, Luca, Annabelle, and Victoria were safe. You send, and that's how Mom ends. Let me know what you thought of the movie and the summary. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe by activating the bell, and don't forget to brush your teeth before bed.